We're looking at two books today, two books by the same author, Jack London. Two books that really are bookends in a real sense. I'll explain that as we go. The first book is The Call of the Wild. And The Call of the Wild has been called the greatest dog story ever written. And in it, Jack London, who was part of the Yukon gold rush back at the turn of the century, London writes a story very knowingly of that era, time, and place, following a dog, Buck, who was kidnapped and brought to the Arctic, the North, and in search of gold. And the story follows all Buck's travails, follows his adventures, follows his failures and successes right to the end, when gradually, throughout the writing of the novel, Buck is inexorably lured toward the call of the wild. That is, the call of the wild brings Buck's savage nature back to him, and he's had to use it to survive anyway. But now he joins a wild wolf pack and answers the call of the wild. Very interesting and I think insightful story here, and I think it accounts for all manner of things, all manner of other animals. For one, that if you, as we had this summer, a little sparrow, a hatchling, well, we raised it. It stayed with us and gradually returned to the wild. And as I was reading The Call of the Wild, I said, this is the Call of the Wild all over again. This is the very thing that happens. And that indeed is what happened in this case. And so we're not so far off, as London would say, we're not so far off from the wild. He made a couple of comments on men, but really it was an animal story he was telling, and he tells it very well. He tells it as there's anthropomorphizing all the way through it. That is, treating animals as if they were human, representing them as if they were human and had human emotions. Almost unavoidable in this case, but he does it well. If you're looking for of any age, you don't have to be a certain age to read this. I just reread them after many years, both books. But if you're looking for really great stories and a really great animal story, The Call of the Wild is I would say the most often recommended of dog stories anyway. The second book we're looking at is the companion book to Call of the Wild. After Call of the Wild came out, only 1 or 2 years later, a woman wrote into a newspaper and talked about the call of the tame. That's what she called her dog, who had been savage and who had tamed it down. And they actually made a play on words on Jack London's book. Well, Jack London or his agent saw this letter to the editor, and Jack London said, what a great idea. What I'll do, I won't call it The Call of the Tame, but I'll reverse the dynamic in the first story and have a wild animal gradually and inexorably become tame. And that's what White Fang is. And as I said, I just read two of these books recently, back to back practically, and I know The Call of the Wild gets a lot of press, but in many ways, White Fang has more unity to it. There's a more clarity in detail. I think, I had a sense of London being able to describe instinct. I thought he was able to describe instinct, and which makes the story so powerful. He's right from the cave where White Fang was raised. He carefully lays out what this creature would see, when he would see it, how he was punished, why he was punished, what he learned from punishment, what he learned from hunger, all of that. And this goes to create the personality of White Fang. It really is a remarkable story. It really is a remarkable story for that reason, and I won't get into the details of it. Only to say that it is what London said it was, the flip side of The Call of the Wild. But even by itself, you don't have to read these books together. But even by itself, White Fang, I think it in some ways stands a little taller than The Call of the Wild. It stays more exclusively on the dog and looks at wolf nature more exclusively, as it would, or dog nature, nature anyway, and instinct. So I think he does a really good job in this, and this is one of the reasons why I would say I'd notch this up. I think White Fang has not been given the accolades it should be given, and read it and see if you agree.